Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This Wednesday night class reading through the TANAK, the 18th of October 2023. Okay, we'll be connecting some dots tonight, kind of bouncing off of some of the stuff we talked about last night. Okay, so you can go to our Prophets of Awakening to our YouTube channel and check out our videos. They have a lot of videos with a lot of information. This information will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And for those that want to support the channel, check out our Cash App at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel, and by that we mean we deal with the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah. Okay, shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our reading through the Tanakh. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, prayer, Psalms. We'll deal with some current events and a little need to know information. Then we'll go into our some Q&A, and then we'll go into the topic, connecting dots for Hebrew Israelites. Okay. So that being said, it's a moment of silence before the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and wisdom. And we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of the people of Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our fathers. And you, oh Lord, have directed us to who you are and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. You said, oh Lord, that you would remove the darkness from around us. Tarry not, oh Lord, for the latter days are here, and we are waiting and watching for you. Peace be unto you. Okay. So we'll read the Psalms. Okay. Okay, I'll read verse 20, Psalm 22. It's a Psalm of David, cry, excuse me, a cry of anguish and a song of praise. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, thou hearest not, and in the night season, and am not silent, but thou art holy, O thou that inhabit praises of Israel. Our father trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee, and were delivered. They trusted in thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man that reproacheth me, the despised of people. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shut out the lips, they shake their head, saying, he trusted on the Lord, that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. But thou art he that took me out of the womb. Thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me, or strong bulls of Bashan have beset me around. They gape upon me with their mouths as a raving and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is meaty in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like the posture, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws, and thou hast brought me into the dust of death. For dogs have compassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. that I may tell all my hot bones. And they look and stare upon me. They pour my garments among them and cast lots upon my vestige. But be not far from me, O Lord, O my strength, as thee to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darlings from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorn. I have declared thy name to my brethren in the midst of the congregation. Have I praise thee. Yet ye that fear the Lord, praise him. All ye the seed of Jacob, glorify him and fear him. All ye that ye the seed of Israel, for he have not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither have he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. My praise shall be of thee in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise the Lord that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto the Lord, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. For the kingdom is the Lord's, and he is the governor among the nations. All they that be fat upon the earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him, it shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, that he have done this. So that was Psalm 22. It's a cry of anguish and a song of praise, Psalm of David. So this is one of those songs right here that you can blatantly see that, where they got this story of JC from, because Psalm 22 it's all about David and his relationship with God. So, but they tell you that this is, dualism. This is all this stuff that's going on with David is a precursor to what's going to happen to JC. So that's how one of the ways they got us. So I want to go through for a couple of them. You see where it says, verse 25 says, my praise shall be of thee in the great congregation. I will pay my vow before them that fear him. So David says, the three high holidays, the three high holy days out of the year, is this what he's talking about, the great congregation. We was looking at the other day about paying vows, how important that was when you make a vow. Jacob made a vow at Bethel on his way to Laban's house. And he told the Lord, he made a vow to the Lord that if he bring him back there to Bethel from Laban's house or from Paran, that he would serve him the rest of his life. And so when he found himself back in the land of Canaan and he's back at Bethel, he told his father that he wanted to go and pay his vow to the Lord. So he went. So we see right here, this is what David doing. David says in 25, my praise shall be of thee in the great congregation. But another thing about it says, I will pay my vow before them that fear him. So other people like him, like-minded folks, he's going to pay his vow before them. Not the nut buckets. You want to pay his vow with like-minded people around him. Okay? So 26, the meek, let me go right over here to, I told you about that. Enoch prophesied. It tells us in the book of Enoch that Enoch is the son of man. You have to understand that. Enoch is the son of man. They just like they tricked this out right here and make you thinking this Jesus they got the Son of Man, the concept of the Son of Man. The Son of Man, they got it from Enoch. The Lord of hosts tell Enoch, you that Son of Man, Son of righteousness. And then he says, and everything that's going to come upon the earth was revealed to Enoch. So Enoch talks of a generation at the very end, the Most High was going to raise up. And like I said, you can see that because there's no way in the world that there should be any righteous people that's seeking the Lord of hosts and seeking the, going into the Old Testament after all that they've done to denigrate our scriptures, denigrate our culture. So this guy, it's the doings the Most High is doing, the Lord of hosts doing. So this that generation that Enoch was talking about. But notice what he says, 30, a seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation. So that's that 70th generation. But you also can see they took this too and twisted JC in it. So say he's a seed. He's the seed. But it says right here, the seed is a generation, a complete generation of people. It's not one person. It's a complete generation in verses 30. So, like I said before, we go back to Genesis right here. When the Lord hosts talking to Eve and the serpent, he says, the Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou shalt, this is 3 and 14, Genesis 3 and 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Then here we go right here. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed. So Christians and the people at the Vatican, at the Council of Nicaea, said that this seed right here, Jesus. This is a futuristic prophecy. That it's going to be Jesus. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. So it's her seed is because of the Immaculate Conception. When no man involved in it. So it's her seed. So they're saying that's JC. Okay? You might not know that, but that's what it is. So anyway, up here, I was following verse, it's Psalm 22. It says, starting at verse 5, they cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and they were not confounded. But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despised of the people. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lips. They shake their head saying, so you see this right here. You notice they put it on JC too. They laugh him to scorn. 8. He trusted in the Lord that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him. But they did with JC on the cross. Said that, you trusted in the Lord. You say you're the Son of God. Tell him to get you off the cross. So all that's coming from here. So he says, 8. He trusted on the Lord that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in the Lord and delighted in him. Okay, saw one more. So it says, and verse 11 says, be not far from me, for trouble is near. For this is David talking to the Lord. For there is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me about. So notice who these bulls are. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me. So you go to Bashan, Amorites. That's the spirit. The Amorite pass. The spirit is still, them spirits from those giants still here. They can't ascend in hell. So you say, what are you talking about? Keep reading. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaved to my jaws. And thou hast brought me into the dust of death, dead. Same thing that David said in his last words in 2 Samuel. So my mouth cleaved to the top of my head. I was dead. I found myself among these wicked men, wicked spirits, which is identified right here. They're the spirits of these Amorites, strong bulls of Bashan. Okay, we can go to Joshua. Let me get it. You can go to Joshua and you'll see what I'm talking about. Go to Joshua. Okay. Get it. I think it's around okay, back up here, 1918. Okay, Benjamin. Okay. Okay. Yeah, chapter 10 says, and it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, he had done as he had done to Jericho and her king, so he had done all to Ai and her king. And now the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them. And they feared greatly because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. Wherefore Adonijah, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Ahab, king of Hebron, and went to Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto uh, Jaffa, king of Lanquish, and unto Dora, king of Elam, saying, Come up with unto me, and help me that we may smote Gibeon, for it hath made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore the kings of the Amorites, so all those the Amorites, therefore the kings of the Amorites, king of Jerusalem, and the king of Hebron, and the king of Jarmuth, and the king of Lanquish, king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up that all their hosts and encamped by Gibeon and made war against it. So all these right here is the strong bulls, spirit of these giants, the Amorites. Bashan is a king called Bashan, but it's also a city called Bashan, a place called Bashan. That's where all these Amorites is at. Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay. Nobody have any comments? We're gonna go to our current event. Okay.
Things have gotten worse, and it's what's affecting other countries is now here in the United States. Thousands have been protesting across the United States. We're on high alert. 2,000 U.S. troops on notice to deploy as Israel and Hamas war intensifies. I have video, and this is for educational purposes, fair use. It's a lot that's happening, you guys. So we need to really pray over ourselves, our families, and those who are involved, those families and troops that are just on hold right now as to what is about to happen. And we are going to be in that war. Regardless of what Biden says or anyone else says, they would not be sending those people just to stand by. Because soon as somebody gets unalived or injured, which we've already had Americans die from what's happening over there, things are going to heat up over here too. So approximately 2,000 U.S. troops have been ordered to be ready to deploy in response to the escalating conflicts between Israel and Palestinian militant groups, Hamas. Pentagon officials announced that on Tuesday. The prepare to deploy order by Defense Secretary, ability to respond quickly to the evolving security environment in the Middle East. Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary said in a news release on Tuesday. And I'm trying to mind my words here, you guys, because anytime I put these kinds of videos up, I'm always getting hit with something with YouTube. So that's why I don't do a lot of these videos. But I need y'all to know if you don't know what is happening. So if preparations do lead to a deployment, U.S. personnel from various units based across the Middle East and Europe are expected to assume support roles. The Pentagon did not specify how many troops, if any, but they did say 2,000, would be deployed inside Israel. So they're not saying.
Okay.
How many will be inside Israel, but 2,000 troops are going to be deployed. They'll be inside Israel's border, or whether personnel would occupy locations outside the country. We now have military in our airports, at our bus stations in New York City. We have Hamas leaders calling for a day of violence, pretty much, in the United States. So when I always say what's happening over in other countries will happen here, we're going to be affected some kind of way. So y'all, please get your home stocked up. So if something does happen, you don't have to go out in this foolishness. So check these videos out. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you, but God loves you more. He created only one you. Be the best you that you can be. And when you are, go out and spread God's love. It's love and light. Thanks for being here on it.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay.
Shalom.
Okay.
Yes, my son is a mechanic, and he's saying that they're going to be deploying those people out because they're fixing up the trucks and things, those tankers and stuff, and
Right.
looks like it's going to be something that's coming for wishing that they going to do war.
Yeah, like I was saying, it was prophesied, right? So he says in Isaiah 66, will I bring you to birth and not bring you forth? It's coming for. It's been prophesied. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, I brought up the Rolling Belt Initiative way back, almost 15 years ago. Nobody know nothing about it, but check this out.
She gave a full review of the major achievements in Belt and Road cooperation in the past decade.
So this is the third inauguration. You know, it's like they breaking the glass and busting the wine bottle on this right here. So it's something to get ready to do, something being implemented. But the thing is that Putin showed up right at this. He didn't, he didn't show up at the African conference. But this right here is so important. He showed up at this. Okay, to let you know the significance of it.
Important experience from its successes, and called on all parties to carry forward its Silk Road spirit, ushering Belt and Road cooperation into a new stage of high-quality development, and strive for the modernization of all.
They even had a slot for him to speak.
President Xi announced China's 8 major steps to support high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. We are convinced that Belt and Road cooperation in the future greater contributions to global growth and the common development prosperity of all countries. Now, I give the floor to His Excellency President Vladimir Putin of Russia.
Distinguished President Xi Jinping, my dear friend, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the President of the PRC, Xi Jinping, for inviting me to participate in the third International Belt and Road Forum. The current forum is being marked by the 10-year anniversary of this really important initiative put forward by President Xi Jinping. It focuses on the future, aiming to form a fairer, multipolar world and the system of international relations. It is a global plan. I agree with the President of the PRC that the Chinese One Belt, One Road idea falls logically within multilateral efforts to strengthen creative and constructive interaction at the scale of the whole international community. We have repeatedly pointed out that Russia and China, as well as the majority of states of the world, share the aspiration for equal and mutually beneficial cooperation in order to reach comprehensive, sustainable, and long-term economic progress and social well-being.
So, like I was saying, you want to check that out. It's Putin is at the inauguration of the Road and Belt Initiative. So anyway, at all the places he can be with all the shit that's going on, he made a point to be at this. It's where to meet at. Right here. Like I said, this is that 10 beasts I was talking about. That's what they're building there. That's what this Road and Belt Initiative is. Once they get all 4 feet up under it and is able to stand up on his own legs, that's it. But the scriptures tell us that it's not going to last that long. You know, so yeah. Okay, any comments on that? Okay, got some need to know information right here.
Covering what's been going on in the city of Chicago with a lot of the migrants, the migrant crisis that's going there. We've also been covering New York. And if you would like to hear, some of those longer videos as our podcast, you can go to the Philip Scott Podcast. Make sure you go to the Philip Scott Podcast channel, subscribe to that. We do, our podcast is lengthy. And some of you maybe like a little bit longer content, but we are expounding on this issue in Chicago. Well, recently, Chicago has done something else. The Democrat Party that a lot of Black people in Chicago voted for, unfortunately, they are housing migrants in places to stay now. And they're paying their rent. Let's go roll it.
Welcome back. We are learning much more about the migrant crisis right here in Chicago. I spoke with Christina Passione-Zayas, the city's first deputy chief of staff. She gave me insight on how the crisis is impacting the city and the state financially. Already this week, 41 buses have rolled into Chicago, and that means there are now 11,000 migrants living in shelters. 4,000 are still sleeping on police station floors and staying at the airport. Now, this is really startling. 30% of migrants here in Chicago are children. Majority of them are attending Chicago public schools. Right now, the state is footing the bill for what they call temporary housing, apartments and homes that are rented out for migrants. The state is paying on the high end $9,000 in rental assistance over a 6-month period of time. With that comes help moving in and a starter kit to furnish the apartment.
That rent lasts for 6 months, and ideally people would have started their legal process, secured legal work authorization, and then be able to sustain that apartment. And so the cost, or I guess the payment towards the landlord, is based on market rate. It's based on the configuration of the apartment, how many rooms, where it's located, all of those things. And so it kind of varies from place to place.
Now, to a lot of our brothers and sisters in Chicago who, you know, struggling right now, who maybe some of you struggling to pay rent, some of you probably could be even facing eviction. You know, there have been record evictions all over the country. Has the city of Chicago offered to pay $9,000 toward your rent for 6 months? I mean, seriously. I mean, a lot of you are taxpayers, and they're not. This is what they say. They get a starter kit. So basically, they're getting furnished. They're getting everything. Now they come over to this country. They didn't vote. No, the Democrats come to you and say, vote for us, vote, 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 right? And then you come out and vote, and then you get nothing out of the vote. It's not that voting don't work. It's just the people you're voting for is working against you. They don't prioritize you. Now, on a podcast, we covered that without the black vote, the Democrats would never win. They would never win an election if black people say, yeah, I'm not voting for you. Even if they had the white vote, the Hispanic vote, and Asian vote, they have shown they cannot win elections without the black vote. And I said in that podcast, that's where our power lies politically, is that we should collectively punish the Democrat Party for what they're doing. There's a lot of homeless people right now in Chicago. It is cold right now in Chicago. It's not snowing yet, but it's cold. I was looking at the weather reports over there. And you have, why isn't our homeless population being put up in apartments and homes and all of that? Why are they getting a starter pack? What about suffering people, low-income people in Chicago who are citizens of America and also residents of Chicago? Why aren't they getting that? Now, see, black folks, I know you're suing out there in the South Shore region. You're suing to stop them from putting migrants in your area. I know they protested about putting migrants in the Munson Park field house, but it's going to get, y'all might have to start getting together and file lawsuits against these programs, because these programs are discriminatory in nature. And let me explain to you why it's discriminatory. If you're not going to pay everybody's rent, then you pay no rent. It's just that simple. You can't say we're going to pay rent for these people who aren't even taxpayers of the city of Chicago. They didn't vote for Brandon Johnson at all. So Brandon Johnson and the Democrats are prioritizing the migrants over the citizens of that city and the taxpayer. It should be lawsuits filed to stop that. You want to pay? Fine, pay, but pay for everybody. It's just that simple. This is a slap in the face to the black voters in Chicago. It's a slap in the face. Black people have been begging forever for resources. Y'all close all the black people's schools, Rahm Emanuel, in Chicago. Most of the schools in black areas that they closed. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to put them in those schools. And do you even know, because we covered this, in O'Hare Airport, they're even having them at shelters over there. Like, okay, y'all allowing them to be in the airport as a shelter? Like, oh, I said, come on, what's going on? I said, because this can be done a whole lot better than that. Now, she said that 41 buses were sent that week, and the majority of them coming from Texas, because Chicago still is a sanctuary city status. Now, there was recently a poll done, and it said black people, Hispanics, and Asians all agree in unison that Chicago should not be a sanctuary city. All of them agreed to that. But you know who agreed that it should be a sanctuary city? The white folks in that city. So this is what I would say. Send the migrants to their neighborhood. Don't send them to the black neighborhoods. Don't send them to the Hispanic neighborhoods. Send them to the white neighborhoods, since they agree with sanctuary city status. Because even though the city of Chicago is going through a crisis, even though they're suffering a major crisis right now, they still will not revoke sanctuary city status. Brandon Johnson is not even worried about people that's voting for him. I've said this before. I looked at the laws. Y'all can recall Brandon Johnson after 6 months. It takes 2 aldermen to put it up, and signatures from the people. I think in every district, I think 50 signatures. Y'all can recall Brandon Johnson, but this is what I said in the podcast. You can't replace Brandon Johnson with another Democrat because you basically replace him with the same person. Y'all got rid of Lori Lightfoot, right? You say, oh, Lori Lightfoot. It's not a Lori Lightfoot problem. It's not even a Brandon Johnson problem. It's a Democrat policy problem. And sometimes you gotta do other things outside of Democrat. Now, I know that just freaks you out. I know some of you just lose your mind, but if another candidate pops up from another party, even if they're Republican, and say, look, I'm in the sanctuary city status, and hey, they gotta go. They say, we got too much issues in Chicago that we gotta deal with here for citizens. Then that's gonna be more so along the lines that Black people can agree with.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything about that?
Shalom. Yes, sir, I did. And I was reading an article on that earlier, is that they got anywhere from 20 to 25 buses a day coming into Chicago, right? And
Okay.
it was said that the White House has confirmed that they have DHS on the site, which is called Team Comprised of Experts, right?
Right.
In Chicago to assess the situation and identify ways that the city and the federal government can improve efficiencies and maximize resources. So they
Okay.
have a special team there that is overseeing all these migrants that are coming in. So
Okay.
I think they said it's something like maybe 3,200 that is, awaiting placement right now, but the
Right.
majority of them have somewhere to go. And like they said, they're furnishing these places and they're getting these benefits. When you have us here in America, we can't get anything.
Is there something?
That's something that says a lot. That's all I have to say. It says a lot.
Right. Anybody else? So look at what we just talked about. We talked about the Rolling Bell Initiative that's over in Africa. Then we talked about the migrant problem, right? That's going on with the migrant problem. So look at that. I mean, there's something is a system or is a plan in place is directly involved with us. Because I mean, that's just flat out with the place where the reparations at, and the level of understanding with reparations and the push for it, for them to do this. They know something. It's something getting ready to happen, and it's going to affect African American in a major way because this is blatant, and it's like, they bringing as many of these people in here as they can for some reason. It's not always clear, but like I said, look at the events that's surrounding it. I mean, if you let me call it, it's we gonna get out of here. They got some plan to either try to exterminate us or run us out of here. That's the only thing. Yeah.
I apologize. Yes, sir. It was two things. The question was raised that the Jews, when we were going through the George Floyd and Black Lives Matters, that they were always there with us, but they are noticing an absence of us since this happened. And also, the borders are being opened for the Israelites, but they are not allowing the Palestinians, even in Egypt, to go anywhere.
Okay. What you think that is?
Well, Well, no, I don't have an opinion. I do more listening than anything, but I wanted to raise those 2 points about the absence of blacks with the Jews, and then, they are not allowing the Palestinians, if I'm saying the right Palestinian, whatever, and they open us up for the Ukrainians and the Israelites, but they are not allowing the Palestinians to come in, and they just started deporting the Venezuelans.
Okay. Right. They want chaos. They want chaos in Palestine. That's why they're not letting Palestinians go. They want to push Israel to a point to act because all those Arab nations waiting on them to start that invasion. Once they start that invasion, Palestinians, they want those Palestinians there, and that's when all hell gonna break loose. The setup. Let's check this out right here.
I have some interesting news. I don't even know how to say it. But I'm just going to come out and say it. We've been looking, just everything going on in the world, how people respond, how our people respond. That's what people are talking to. And the bad news is that you have been ever so gently rocked back to sleep, because you're being consumed right now by this war that's going on. And just like in 2020 with the pandemic, if you guys remember, the news was constantly, oh, this is the update, this is the update, this is the update, this is the update. And everyone is just feeding into it like cotton candy, like children in cotton candy, turning on the TV, turning on YouTube, and just like staring at the screen like literally just like that. If you guys have never studied ancient history, you really should, because America is very, very good at this.
Exactly.
Ancient Greece, they would do these theater productions to distract their citizens from whatever they had going on, okay? And so with these theater productions, this is where like the Olympics comes from. This is where a lot of the current entertainment and theater productions today come from. And I learned this in college, and I thought it was the most interesting thing, and it's just never left my brain, especially when I see it in play. And so the news is bombarding you right now with all this war stuff, and our community is in like uproar. Like half our people, the Christian people of African Americans, the diaspora and Africans, not necessarily Africans in East Africa, but I'm going to get to that. The ones that are tuned in to the entertainment and the new war marketing scheme, propaganda, are just like, oh, save that country, help those people. Oh my gosh, not realizing these people are the people that funded the transatlantic slave trade, benefited from the Arab slave trade, and mastermind the decline and attempted assassination of our people, which is obviously not turning out the way they wanted it to. And so their numbers are dwindling just population-wise and all of these things. So the last resort is obviously with all of us coming back to Africa, because this has surely been the largest amount of people leaving America, leaving the West to return to Africa like ever before. And so with our people doing that, they're like, okay, well, let's just pop out with another war. Let's pop out with another this. If we can't stop all of the people from living where they're supposed to live, being in their homeland, doing what they should be doing, which is focusing on the generations after them, serving the Most High, and all these things outside of Babylon, if we can't get all of them to do that, let's just trick the last few that are like just tied into the system, just continue to be tied in over and over, brought in. America knows that all they have to do is come up with a specific headline, right, pull your heartstrings, or even pull your knowledge strings if that's what you're into, just to give you a topic to talk about so that you feel like, oh, okay. And while you're talking about these topics, you're completely distracted, because I'm also assuming, and I may be wrong, but I'm assuming that for some of you, you're probably not looking into financial stability anymore. You're probably not looking into traveling Africa anymore. You're probably not looking into getting out and getting debt free. You're probably not looking into starting your business as much anymore because your attention is really being focused on this war thing, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Unless you're there and you know what's going on, you don't know what it is either. And so, yeah, I made this video as a wake-up call, like, hello, wake up. Stop falling for their propaganda, war marketing schemes. War is a business, an evil business. And your news flashes are the marketing schemes. I'm in marketing. I see what they're doing. It's a marketing scheme to get you to finance the war, to get your energy to finance the war. Because that is the wealth right there. That's the resource they want right now. They want your energy to be into this so that you'll be distracted. Because when you're awake and you turn the TV off and you're not distracted, you realize, okay, I gotta get out of here because the inflation's increasing. The livelihood of my people, my community is not getting better. It's okay if your livelihood's getting better. That's fine for you. But at some point, you have to care about your community. You also have to care about the people who we say, who we say are the people, the Bantu people that are mostly in Africa, mostly live in Africa. But for some reason, we don't want to connect back home. And then when we do want to connect back home, we open up YouTube to connect back home. And YouTube is not the homeland. But I'm going to leave it there because I could go on this forever. But I'm going to leave it at 5 minutes because I got stuff to do. I don't got time for this propaganda.
Okay. Any comments? You want to watch that is Wake Up, Save Yourself. That's the name of the video. It's Journey with Us, the name of the channel. Check it out. Okay. No comments? Okay, yeah. So like she was saying, it's all facade. The movie screen they playing, it's all being played out. You know, and like she said, you got focusing on things like I was just showing you what they're doing, and you know that's not on the news. Putin over in the Rolling Belt inauguration. It's like they ain't in the news. And like I said, he didn't go to the Africa, he didn't go to BRICS, but he went here, and they show you how big that is. Okay, that goes all the way back to the container situation we had back in, it's supposed to be container ships was backed all up. It's tied to the Rolling Belt Initiative. That's what the Rolling Belt is. All these ports they set up all around Africa and in that region. Okay, check it out. So with that being said, nobody had nothing to say. I'm connecting some dots on some things that was brought up and talked about, and I'm just gonna go back and connect some dots, and then I'll leave you with something to. I'm trying to find it. I remember reading it. I got so many books, but this guy called Kanan. I was talking last night about we have so many people that people that just every now and then might deal with the Bible or get in a conversation with somebody about the Garden of Eden and Cain and all that, and they just, so they get Cain mixed up with the C-A-I-N, Cain. Then you got Canaan, C-A-I-N-I-N. Then you got Canaan, C-A-N, A-A-A. I mean, 2 A's and an N, Canaan. But it's another guy that, and it's big. I don't think I ever really talked about this one. I'm gonna go in on it, but so if somebody want to do the research on it, try to maybe, but it's Kenan, I think it's Kenan, and who this guy is it pretty much what the research I done on it was. They pretty much took him out of he's out of he's out of, if I'm not mistaken, he's out of Shem's lineage. But they completely took him out his name out of the lineage. But what happened with him was those before the flood. I don't know if it was. I'm thinking it was those Amorites or either those. It may have been the fallen angels, but and they finding that type of information now, but not in the magnitude that Canaan is his name. After the flood, after the water receded, he was in the land of Shinar, and he found these writings carved in stone. You know, I don't know if it was on the ground or was it in the side of a mountain or whatever, but he found these or whether it was tablets or whatever, but he found these tablets or these writings from the Watchers. Yeah, the Watchers had wrote it. So they wrote it in order for mankind to discover it after the water had receded. So this son of this man from Shem found it. But what he did was he found them, read them and all that, understood it, but he didn't tell Noah about it. And so that's what I was dealing with, and I kind of got away from it. But I'm going to walk that down, so if anybody else want to check it out, maybe they can find some. His name's Canaan, and it's kind of sound like Cain, tied to Canaan and all that, but his name is Canaan. Canaan is his name, yeah. So just want to check that out, yeah. So but I was talking last night about Lamech and how Lamech ended up. A lot of people don't know it, but he's tied. He intermarried in Adam's lineage. He crossed over. Cain's descendants became linked to Adam's descendants by marriage when Lamech married Ada and Zillah. So let's look at that right quick. We'll go into a little bit of the story. There's another part to that story, but like I said, I have to search those books out. I think it's in the book of Lamech and Cain. I didn't have time to deal with it. I'll go back and check it out. But if you go to Genesis, chapter 4. Genesis chapter 4. And it says, Genesis chapter 4, and it gives you the lineages of Cain's descendants. So when it starts off, it says, verse 16, descendants of Cain, right? Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived, bore Enoch, and he built a city, called the name of the city called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irid, and unto Irid was born Methuselah, Methuselah got Methuselah. So notice that you got Methuselah over in Adam's descendants, but this is Methuselah. So remember that Methuselah and Methuselah got Lamech. So Cain got a Lamech just as well as Adam have a son called Lamech. Then it says Lamech took unto him. This is the Lamech of Cain's descendants. And it says Lamech took unto him 2 wives, and the name of one was Ada, and the name of the other one was Zillah. So let's look at this. So we see right there, Cain married these 2 women. And so, like I said, with even understanding that right there and what I'm getting ready to read, so how is that, you gotta ask yourself, how is King James, how is that holy? That's the thing that the Christian riding on, is that those 66 books is all we need, and that they was holy, ordained, and watched over by the Lord. They came into our presence today by divine providence by the Lord. So, like I just read, Ada, Lamech, or Cain married Ada and Zillah, right? So now I'm gonna go to the Book of Jasher. So, like I said, the truth ain't being told to you. So this is how that side operates. But we know on the most part, the whole side, and our righteous fathers, the descendants, they was righteous. Wasn't nothing hidden. Wasn't nothing secret. And nothing hidden. When the Lord was talking to the prophets and talking to our forefathers, it was nothing hidden. He talked to them straight out. So I'm in thinking it's page 13. So it says, I'm gonna start at verse 8 in Joshua chapter 2. It says in 7. In those days there was neither sowing nor reaping in the earth, and there was no food for the sons of men, and the famine was very great in those days. And the seed which they sowed in those days in the ground became thorns and thistles and briars. And from the days of Adam was this declaration concerning the earth of the curse of God, which he cursed the earth on account of the sins which Adam sinned before the Lord. And it was when men continued to rebel and transgress against God and to corrupt their ways that the earth also became corrupt. And Enoch lived 90 years, and he begot Canaan, Cainaan. Okay, I said I-N, A-N. Grew up, and he was 40 years old, and he became wise, and he had knowledge and skill and all wisdom, and he reigned over the sons of men, and he led the sons of men to wisdom and knowledge. For Canaan was a very wise and had understanding in all wisdom and knowledge. For Canaan was very wise, in all wisdom, and with his wisdom he ruled over spirits and demons. So we see right here, this is none other than the title, Melchizedek. This is the definition of what Melchizedek is right here, what Canaan doing. Canaan is Melchizedek, one of them. So 12, Canaan knew by his wisdom that God would destroy the sons of men from having sinned upon the earth, and the Lord would in the latter days bring upon them the waters of the flood. Right? So it says, and in those days Canaan wrote upon tablets of stone what was to take place in the time to come, and he put them in his treasures. Canaan reigned over the whole earth, and he turned some of the sons of men to the service of God. And when Canaan was 70 years old, he begot 3 sons, 2 daughters. And the names of the children of Canaan, the name of the firstborn was Mahalalel, the second Enan, the third was Merid, and their sisters were Ada and Zillah. They go Ada and Zillah right there. That's Canaan out of Adam's lineage, 2 daughters. These are the 5 children of Canaan that were born to him. And Lamech, the son of, here you go right here. Lamech, and if you don't know this, you're going to read right over it. Lamech, the son of Methuselah. That's the guy I just mentioned. Not Methuselah out of Cain lineage. He's the son of Methuselah. Became related to Canaan by marriage. And he took his 2 daughters for his wives, and Ada conceived and bore a son to Lamech, and she called his name Jabal. So like I was saying, so these people right here wasn't ordained, because this is mixture. It's an admixture. They weren't ordained to be on earth, just like the giants wasn't. They weren't ordained to be on earth, because he told them, don't let your sons marry their daughters, don't let your daughters marry their sons. Same thing, transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so you know you can chew on that. But like I said, those kids that came about, those daughters of Zion being raped on the slave boats wasn't ordained. Well, that was being raped in the plantation houses. A whole nother race of people. Okay, so anyway, it says, and Lamech, the son of Methuselah, became latest king by marriage, and he took his two daughters, for his wives, and Ada conceived and bore a son to Lamech, and she called his name Jubal. Right? So then it says, and she again conceived and bore a son, called his name Jubal. And Zillah, her sister, was barren in those days and had no offspring. For in those days the sons of men began to transgress against God and to transgress the commandments which he had commanded to Adam, to be fruitful and to multiply in the earth. And some of the sons of men caused their wives to drink a draught that would render them barren, in order that they might retain their figures, and whereby their beautiful appearance might not fade. And when the sons of men caused some of their wives to drink, Zillah drank with them, and the childbearing women appeared abominable in the sight of their husbands as widows, while as their husbands lived, for the barren ones only they were attached. And in the end of days and years, when Zillah became old, the Lord opened her womb. So same story with Sarah. So and she received and bore a son and called his name Tubal-Cain, saying, after I have withered away, have I obtained him from the Almighty God. And she conceived again and bore a daughter, and she called her name Naamah. And she said, after I had withered away, have I obtained pleasure and delight. And Lamech was old and advanced in years, and his eyes were dim that he could not see. And Tubal-Cain his son was leading him. And it was one day that Lamech went into the field. Tubal-Cain and his son was with him. And while they were walking in the field, Cain, the son of Adam, advanced toward them. For Lamech was very old and could not see, and Tubal-Cain his son was very young. And Tubal-Cain told his father to draw his bow, which the arrows had. With the arrows he smote Cain, who was yet far off, and he slew him, for he appeared to him to be an animal. And the arrows entered Cain's body, although he was distant from them, and he fell to the ground and died. And the Lord requited Cain's evil according to his wickedness, which he had done to his brother Abel, according to the word of the Lord which he had spoken. And it came to pass when Cain had died, that Lamech and Tubal went to see the animal which they had slain, and they saw, and behold, Cain, their grandfather, was fallen dead upon the earth. And Lamech was very much grieved at having done this, and in clapping his hands together, he struck his son and caused his death. And the wives of Lamech heard that Lamech had done what he had done, and they sought to kill him. And the wives of Lamech hated him from that day, because he slew Cain and Tubal-Cain. And the wives of Lamech separated from him and would not hearken unto him in those days. And Lamech came to his wives, and he pressed them to listen to him about this matter. And he said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice, O wives of Lamech, attend to my words. For now you have imagined and said that I slew a man with my wounds, and I killed a child with my stripes, for their having done no violence. But surely know that I am one old and gray-headed, and that my eyes are heavy through age, and I did this thing unknowingly. And the wives of Lamech listened to him in this matter, and they returned to him with the advice of their father Adam. But they bore no children to him from that time knowing that God's anger was increasingly in those days against the sons of men to destroy them with the waters of the flood for their evil doings. And Mahalalel, the son of Canaan, lived 65 years, and he begot Jared. And Jared lived 60 and 2 years, and he begot Enoch. So, any comments on that? So, like I was saying before, how can you get righteousness out of King James when there's all this information missing? Okay, so we see right here, let me read it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm back in King James, and it says, I'm in chapter 4. It says, that I'm starting at verse 21. Okay, yeah, 21 says, and his brother man was Jubal, and he was the father of all that such handled the harp and the art of Zillah. She also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor in artificial in brass and iron. And his sister Tubal-Cain was Naomi. And Lamech said, see that? Look how much they left out. They jumped from Zillah having Naomi and Tubal-Cain to Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my words, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding and a young man to my heart. So we know who that is. And when you read the book of Joshua, we know who this young man is and who the man was. Cain and Tubal-Cain. And that's why it says in 24, if Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 times 7. So letting you know, in 24, it was Cain. What he talking about in verse 23, Cain the one he killed. Joshua let you know that. Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And Adam knew his wife again. Yeah, so anyway, so you see right there how how much they left out. So what's holy about that? Ain't nothing holy about it. Being duped. So just to add to that, some you can search out on your own. Notice your names. Tubal-Cain had a sister named Naomi. And you go to let me get it. Let me see what it says. Oh, that's not in King James. Yeah, but anyway, Noah's wife is named Naomi. So it's a big old discussion about that. Is that Naomi is the same woman that Noah married out of Cain's lineage. Okay. Any comment? Anybody got a comment? Okay. So yeah. So like I said before, you see how much information is missed, is been taken out from the scriptures. I mean, they don't even who would know that Ada and Zillah is Adam's daughters, granddaughters. When you read that in King James, you never come to that conclusion. We got folks, Christians that ever since they created the King James Bible and lived and died reading that and not having the whole understanding of it. And that's my thing. One of my pet peeves is that it's time out for that. You got to go all the way in on the scriptures and break them all the way down. Because you so much. Everything that comes up has got to be broken down because it's going to lead to something else later. Like I said, he said they in Genesis, you list all the men that's called as being listed. The women ain't being listed, but all of a sudden, in Cain's lineage, a woman is mentioned, Naomi. And then you find out later that Naaman supposedly is the woman that Noah married. Because it tells you Noah didn't get married till he's 500 years old. That's strange in itself. And then it tells you that Noah's wife was older than he was. So it seems like to me it's Naaman. But yeah. So it's too much information being that was taken out for like I said, for that to be holy. It's not holy. Pretty much go back to what they say. It's a history book. It becomes holy when the Most High imposes itself on you and start open up scriptures and connecting dots for you. That's when it becomes holy. But the King James itself is ain't nothing but a history book, a skewed history book. Yeah. So nobody have no comments. I'm gonna go to the story we was talking about last night. How we got it's 7 angels. We know that it's 7 angels that the Most High, the Creator, dealing with. 7 angels, right? Whether one of them is the archangel or not, it's 7 holy angels, and 7 of them, and their names tell you what they do. They roles. It's obvious It's obvious, once you start dealing with that from an Israelite perspective, an Israelite mindset, you can see that one of them is controlling the other 6. And we know what that other one is. A prime example is Lucifer started acting up in heaven. So it wasn't Azazel or Jeremiel that kicked him out of heaven. It was Michael kicked him out. So who you think that is? Why was it Michael that kicked him out? Because he's the one he's the Lord of hosts. He's an angel. He's the one he's the commando. Like his characteristics tell you. He's the commander. He's the commander in chief of the Most High's armies. And we see how they mentioned in Daniel chapter 12 that the great prince. Daniel chapter 10 tells you he's the prince over Israel. But not only is he the prince over Israel, but he's the great prince. So you have to add all that up. So then you could even go to his name. Let's say he who is like Yahweh. It all connects. Ain't no way out of it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, and then, like I said, go through these different stories, different books, and in order to lay a foundation in righteousness and in truth, like the Most High says, he deal with the prophets and deal with Abraham, and like he said, will I not keep this thing from Abraham? So he's not gonna sit there and tell you one thing and doing something else. He's gonna be straight up. So, like I said, the information that's coming out, the truth that's coming out, that's your foundation. If you come across something and it ain't adding up with what the foundation is, then you know it's been skewed. So that takes me to the book of Tobit, right? So I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. All right, so it says, I'm just gonna kind of paraphrase the start of it, give you a picture. So Tobit is a man, and it's just part of it. This part right here lets you know that it ties you to Jonah timeline. If you got your discernment glasses on, it take you to Jonah. So Jonah was sent to Nineveh, right? And Nineveh is the city in Assyria. And Jonah is why is he sending Jonah to Nineveh? Israelites there, 10 tribes there. He's sending Jonah there to, like he told Jeremiah, go to the people, go to the gate. So he's sending Jonah to the same place. So let's look at that first. Okay. And he's going to tell you that. And, you know, like I said, you got your glasses on. He says, the story of Tobit, son of Tubal, son of Hanai, son of Erdu, son of, I'm butchering his name, Gebal, of the stock of Asherel, of the tribe of Naphtali, who in the days of Shalomite, let's take you to Genesis, take you to Second Kings chapter 17, when the 10 tribes are taken out. This the king right here that took them out. It says right here, Naphtali, who in the days of Shalomite, the king of Assyria, was carried into captivity from Thebes, which is in the south of Kadesh, Naphtali, and Galilee above Asher. So that's the 10 tribes. And that's what Jonah was saying. It's only one time in history that the 10 tribes is in Nineveh and in Assyria, so that automatically placed Jonah there. Whatever it is they're trying to do with Jonah, the timeline where he go is with he right here. Okay, so it says, I told her walk all the days of my life in the ways of truth. So this is gonna take you back to 2 Kings 2. It says, I told her walk in the days of my life in the ways of truth and righteousness. I did many acts of charity for my brethren and my nation who were taken to the land of Assyria. See that? To Nineveh. There it is. You can't get out of that with me. And when I was in my own country, in the land of Israel, right? He telling you, he filling in blanks for you. When I was young, the whole tribe of my father, Naphtali, revolted from the house of Jerusalem. That's when the split happened. After Solomon died. When Jeroboam and Rehoboam was, the split happened, which had been chosen from all the tribes of Israel for all the tribes to offer sacrifices in and in which the temple of the dwelling of the Most High had been dedicated and built for all ages. So what he's saying is Solomon built the temple that was on the place where they were supposed to make sacrifices. And David got a covenant with David. It's always going to be a son on the throne out of David's lineage. So when he split his kingdom up, gave Rehoboam control of the 10 tribes, he was hating. He didn't want to, when the time, like David was saying, those 3 festivals, 3 times a year, they all have to come together, all the tribes in Jerusalem, where David's lineage is, where David's name reigns supreme. Rehoboam didn't want to go there. He was so bent on power. And so he knew, like I was saying, a ram. An Israelite man is connected at the hip with the ram. So if you get around a ram and get goosebumps, then you know why. So anyway, so these not only that, these Israelite men and the women, people, and everybody, they connected to David's seed. So these nutbuckers didn't want him. He didn't want the people to go to Jerusalem because he feared that they was going to, return and revolt from him and return to Jerusalem because of the awe that was there. David seed there, David, and the spirit of the Most High there, and being Israelites, they was gonna be overwhelmed. So he didn't want them to go there. So like I said, he had been in Egypt, so he built another temple down there amongst those 10 tribes, and he put calf, 2 calves in there, just like Aaron did. So that's what he's telling you right here. So he says, I was young, the whole tribe of my father Naphtali revolted from the house of Jerusalem, which had been chosen from all the tribes of Israel and all the tribes to offer sacrifices, in which the temple of the dwelling of the Most High had been dedicated and built for all ages. So all the tribes which had revolted would offer sacrifices to the heifer Baal. So that's the bull right here that Rehoboam built. But I alone So he made a bull for them to sacrifice. But this guy, Toby, telling you, I alone went many times to Jerusalem. So he didn't deal with Rehoboam, what he had going on. He went to Jerusalem for the festival, the 3 festivals a year. As the scripture command all Israel in an everlasting decree, taking with me the first fruits and the 10th part of my crop and my first shearing, and I will give them to the priests, the sons of Aaron, at the altar. A 10th part of all my produce I will give to the sons of Levi, who affiliated at Jerusalem. They're Levites affiliated at Jerusalem. And another 10th I would sell and go and spend the proceeds in Jerusalem each year. And a 10th tithe I would give to those whom it was fitting to give, as Deborah, my grandmother, had instructed me, for I was left an orphan by my father. When I became a man, I married Hannah, who was the stock of my family. So when you see that stock, you go to Isaiah 44. Let's go there right quick. Show you what I mean, how important this is. So he's saying stock. Well, let's look at it. Isaiah 44. We're in the midst of this prophecy right now, what I'm getting ready to read. It says, Isaiah 44, and it says, yet hear now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus said the Lord, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jezreel, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, floods upon dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy stock, my blessings upon thy stock, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourse. And one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and shall name himself by the name of Israel. So when you see that, that goes right along with what he said. Don't allow your sons to marry their sons, their daughters, and don't let your daughters marry their sons, because they ain't, if you do, they ain't no longer stock. Especially if it's a woman marrying, Israelite woman marrying a Gentile man, they ain't no longer Israelite. Okay, and that's what he keep on putting emphasis on. But we been bamboozled by the Europeans and thinking that it's, it's something else. But no, he's dealing with stock. We see how when he sacrifices the animals, he said, "Don't bring no animal up here. There's no crossbred animal, no lame or animal or whatever. It's got to be from the stock, from the way he created them. The first ones he created, that's what he wants. Ones that ain't been tampered with or mixed or mingled." Okay, so it says, in the time of Shalmaster, I used to do many acts of charity for my brethren, and I would give my bread to the hungry and my clothes to the naked, and clothes to the naked. And if I saw one of my people dead or thrown outside the walls of Nineveh, I would bury him. And Sennacherib king killed everyone who had come as a fugitive from Judah. I buried them secretly, for he killed many in his anger, and their bodies were looked for by the king and could not be found. But one of the Ninevites went and informed the king about me, that I was burying them, and I hid. When I learned that I was being sought for to be put to death, I was frightened and escaped. Then all my property was seized, and nothing was left me but my wife Hannah and my son Tobias. Before 50 days had passed, his 2 sons killed him and fled into the mountains of Ararat. And Eshkedon, his son, became king in his place, and he appointed Aqua, my brother Hannah's son, to have charge of all the accounting of his kingdom and all in his administration. And Aqua asked for me, and I went to Nineveh. Aqua was cupbearer and keeper of a signet and his charge of administration. And on the account, Ashkelon appointed him second to himself, and he was my nephew. So we see right here, same thing that happened to Joseph, same thing that happened to Mordecai, same thing happened right here, right? Made him second in charge. And when I reached my home and my wife Hannah, I was restored. It was restored to me. And Tobias, my son, at the Harvest Festival, which is at the Feast of 7 Weeks, a good dinner was prepared for me. And I sat down to eat, and I saw the abundance of food, and I said to my son, "Go and bring my any poor man of any brothers whom you can find who remembers the Lord, and I will wait for you." And he came back and said, "Father, one of our race, to that one of our race has been strangled and thrown out in a bazaar." Then, before I tasted anything, I rushed out and brought him into the room until sunset. Then I returned and washed myself and ate my food in sadness and remembered the prophecy of Amos, as he said, "Your feast will be torn into sorrow, and all your good cheers into lamentations." And I wept aloud. And when the sun was set, I went and dug the grave and buried him. And my neighbors laughed at me and said, "He is not yet afraid of being put to death for doing this." And he ran away, and here he is burying the dead again. That same night, after I had buried him, I returned, and as I was ceremonially defiled, I lay down to sleep by the walls of the courtyard with my face uncovered, and I did not know that there was sparrows in the walls above me. And as my eyes were open, the sparrows' drippings fell into my eyes and produced the white film on them. And I went to the physician, and they could not help me. But Aqua supported me for 2 years until he went to Eminus. So that word right there is Elymas, right? That's the same road the two disciples with Jesus was on. Okay. So then my wife Hannah found employment at the women's work and sent the work back to its owners, and they paid her wages and gave her a kid and gave her a kid to go besides. But when she came home to me, the kid began to bleak, and I said to her, "Where did this kid come from? It is stolen. Give it back to its owner, for we have no right to eat anything that is stolen." Okay, so let me get over here to what I'm getting to. It says, "Lord," okay, I said, "He was giving me a gift in addition to my wages, but I would not believe her and told her to give it back to its owner. And I blushed her, I blushed for her. Then she answered and said to me, and where are your charities? Where is your uprightness? Of course you know anything." Then I was grieved and I wept and I prayed sorrowfully. So he prayed, right? "Lord, you are upright in all your doings and all your ways of mercy and truth. You always judge truly and justly. Remember me, look upon me, and do not take vengeance on me for my sins and my ignorance acts, and for those of my forefathers, which they committed in your sight. For they disobeyed your commands, and you have given us up to pillage and captivity and death, and make us a proverb and a reproach among all the nations among whom you have been scattered. And now your judgment, which on many are right, and exacting from me for my sins and for those of my forefathers, because we did not keep your commandments, for we have not walked uprightly before you. So let's look at this right quick. Like I was saying before, uh, how we've been hoodwinked with the day of the Lord. We look at Malachi when it says the day of the Lord, and we waiting on that day of the Lord. But it's been countless days of the Lord. When you understand who the Lord is, the Lord of hosts is a Archangel Michael. So when we veer away from him and stop listening to his voice he commanded Moses in Exodus 23, he scattered us. Like I said, we've been in like 13 different captivities. When we go into that captivity, in order for us to come out of that captivity, the day of the Lord got to come. So what's the day of the Lord? When the Lord show up to deliver his people. So I'm gonna read this again and remember what we waiting on. Right? It says, Lord, you are upright in all your doings and all your ways are mercy and truth. And you always judge truly and justly. Remember me, look upon me, do not take vengeance on me for my sins and my ignorant acts, and for those of my forefathers. It's almost identical to Daniel prayer, which they committed in your sight. For they disobeyed your commands. You have given us up to pillage and captivity and death, and make us a proverb and a reproach. All that's in Deuteronomy. Among all the nations among whom we have been scattered. And now your judgment, which are many, are right, and exacting from me and my sins and those of my forefathers, because we did not keep your commandments, for we have not walked uprightly before you. So now deal with me according to your pleasure. Command my spirit to be taken from me, so that I may be released and return to dust. For I'd rather die than live, because I have not listened to the false reproaches, and I have felt great sorrow. Command me to release from this stress, and then to my everlasting place of abode. Do not turn your face away from me. So, Daniel, who is Daniel praying to? Lord of hosts. He's the mediator. Who is David praying to? Lord of hosts. Michael. He's the mediator. Remember that. On that very day, it happened to Sarah, daughter of Regal. Here we go. Another nugget. Ecobanica and Media. See that? Medes and Persians. So like I said, these are 10 tribes. This is where Jonah was sent. Jonah existed during this time. That she too was reproached by her father's maids because she had been married to 7 husbands, right? So this where the media come in at. She had been married to 7 husbands, and the wicked demon Amandas had killed them before they had been with her in the customary with wives. They said to her. You see that anywhere in the Old Testament.
No, sir.
This kind of talk. You don't see this in the Old Testament, right? So it says, wicked demon Amandas had killed them before they had been with her in the customary with the wives. It said, do you not know that you strangled your husbands? You have already had 7, and you have not borne the name of one of them. Why do you torment us? If they are dead, go after them. May we never see sons or daughters of yours. And when she heard these things, she was deeply hurt and wished to hang herself. But she said, uh, I am my father's only child. If I do this, it will disgrace him, and I will bring his old age down to the grave in sorrow. Have we seen anywhere in the Old Testament where the Israelites try to commit suicide?
No.
Okay, twice. I hear 2 people try to commit suicide already. So it said, I am my father's only child. Okay, said, and so here you go. I told you David, Solomon, Adam, all of them praying to the Lord of hosts. And so she prayed by her window and said, "Blessed are you, O Lord, my God." There it is, Lord of hosts. "And blessed are your holy and honored name forever. May all your works bless your works you bless forever. And now, Lord, I turn my face and my eyes to you. Command me to be released." There you go again, suicide from the earth, and do here reproach no more. You know, Lord, that I am innocent of any sin with man. I have never defiled my name or the name of my father in the land of my captivity. I am my father's only child. He was the other. He had no other child to be his heir. He has no brother near him or nephew whom shall keep myself to marry. I have already lost 7 husbands. Why must I live any longer? And it is not your pleasure to kill me. Command that some regard be had for me, and some pity be shown me, that I may no more may have to listen to reproach. And the prayer of both of them, here you go, check it out. And the prayer of both of them were heard in the presence of the glory and the great Raphael. Huh? Where that's coming from? See that?
Raphael. Yes, sir.
They praying to the Lord. They praying to the Lord of hosts. Even right here. So you can see right here in real time, these nut buckets stuck that in there, because all the rest of it is in alignment with Scripture. They're praying to the Lord of hosts. Now all of a sudden, the prayers of both of them was heard in the presence of the glory of the great Raphael. Now he got great on Raphael name.
Right. Yes, sir.
See that?
I caught that. Yes, sir. I
Right,
did.
right.
Yes.
So now,
Shalom.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Shalom. Isn't Raphael the healer? So, the healer, he will heal one. He's the healer. He's the angel of healing. So,
Right.
by him coming there, healing the wound of, or the healing Tobot, I think that's his name. How you pronounce it?
Tobit.
Tobit. So he will not be killed by the evil spirit that continues to come to the woman that kills her husbands, that she couldn't
A prayer,
consummate with.
a prayer is to be taken from the earth. She want to be killed.
Okay.
She want to be murdered. Okay. And then on top of that, and the prayer of both of them were heard in the presence of the great Raphael. That ain't what they praying. Raphael ain't the mediator. We're gonna see that in a minute. We're gonna keep going. So it says, uh, and he was sent to kill them both, for Tobit to remove the white film and to give Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, to Tobit's son Tobias as his wife, and to bind Abanimus, the wicked demon, because Tobias was entitled to possess her. So at the same time, Tobit went into his house, and Sarah and the daughter of Raguel came down from her upstairs room. So let me give you another example of this right here before I go on. So we already know who the Lord host is. He's second in charge in heaven. He's the Lord host. He got the Most High name in him. He's second in charge. So if the Most High had a son that from the fact that was created that was in the bosom from the beginning, he was hidden in the bosom until the end when he showed up in Jerusalem. Who would be the one that's gonna show up to announce that? Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, who would have if the Most High had a son that was gonna be born of a woman, a virgin, Who would bring that information to Mary?
An angel.
No, who? Who would bring it?
Uh,
When you look at
the Lord of
the
hosts.
magnitude of it, okay? Who brought it in the New Testament? Who brought it in the New Testament?
I don't remember. It just
Gabriel.
said just
Gabriel.
an angel.
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Oh,
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Gabriel. You can go look at it, search it out. So what's going on? Right here, they don't want to acknowledge Michael, and they don't want to acknowledge him in the New Testament. So it's a smear campaign on the Lord of hosts. Anybody but the person that's in charge, they don't want you to know who it is.
Okay, I see that now. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
right. Well, let me get back where I was. I lost my page. Let me get it. So okay, let me get it. Yeah, so it says, and the prayer of both of them was heard in the presence of great idea. And yeah, says Tobias went into his house, and Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, came down from her upstairs room. On that day, Tobias remembered the money that he had deposited in Gebal in Regal in Media. And he said to himself, I have asked for death. Why should I not call? See that? I have asked for death. Now, you don't see no man praying to the Most High to kill him. He said, I have asked for death. Why should I not call my son Tobias to explain to him before I die? So he called to him and said, my boy, when I die, bury me, but do not neglect your mother. Provide for her as long as you live. Do what is pleasing to her, and do not grieve her in anything. Remember, my boy, that she faced many dangers for you before your birth. And when she dies, bury her beside me in one grave. All your life, my boy, remember the Lord, our God. Do not consent to sin and transgress his commands. See that? That's the Lord of hosts. Out of nowhere, they jump up and say, Raphael. But anyway, so he says, remember the Lord our God. Do not commit sins and transgress his command. Act uprightly all your life and do not walk in the ways of wrongdoing. For if you do right, prosperity will, check it out. If you do right, prosperity will attend your undertakings. So all who act uprightly, give charity for your property, and do not let your eyes begrudge what you give to charity. Do not turn your face away from any poor man, and God's face will not be turned away from you. Give to charity in proportion to what you have. If you have little, do not be afraid to give sparingly to charity, for then you will lay up a good treasure for yourself against the day of adversity. The charity will save you from death and keep you from going down into darkness. Charity is a good offering in the sight of the Most High for all who give it. My boy, beware of any immorality. First, take a wife who is of the stock. There you go again. Yep. Take a wife who is of the stock of your forefathers. Remember what Isaac told his servant when he went to his Sarah's house to get a wife from Sarah's lineage. So we just, they didn't voided all this. So he says, "My boy, beware of any morality. First, take a wife who is of the stock of your forefathers. Do not marry any alien who does not belong to your father's tribe, for we are the sons of the prophets. Remember, my boy, that Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, our forefathers of old, all married wives from among their kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their prosperity will possess the land. Now, my boy, love your kindred. Love your kindred. Do not disdain your brethren and the sons of the daughters of your people, and refuse to marry one of them. For such disdain leads to ruins and great distress. We see that every day with these athletes. And worthlessness brings loss and great want. For worthiness is the mother of famine. Worthlessness is the mother of famine. The wages of any man who works for you, you must not retain overnight, but you must pay him immediately. If you serve God, you will be rewarded. Take care, my son, in all that you do, and be well disciplined in all your conduct. Do not do to anyone else what you hate. Do not drink wine to the point of intoxication. Drunkenness must not go with you on your way. Give some of your bread to the hungry and to your clothes to the naked. Give all your surplus to charity, and do not let your eyes begrudge what you gave to charity. Scatter your bread on the graves of the upright, and do not give to the sinners. Ask advice of every wise man, and do not think lightly of any useful advice. Always bless the Lord God. Ask him to make your ways straight and your paths to be plain and proper. For no heathen nation possesses understanding. Let's read that again. No heathen nation possesses understanding, but the Lord gives all good things, and he humbles whosoever he pleases as he chooses. Now, my boy, remember my command. Do not let them be blotted from your mind. And now I must inform you of the 10 talents of silver that I deposited in Gebal, son of Garbus, in Reggae of Media. Do not be afraid, my boy, because because we have become poor. You are well off. If you fear God and refrain from any sin and do what is pleasing in his sight. Then Tobias answered and said to him, Father, I will do all that you have commanded me, but can I get the money when I do not? He said, but how can I get the money when I do not know him? So he gave him a receipt, and said to him, seek out the man and go with seek out a man. Here we go right here. Seek out a man to go with you, and he will pay him wages as long as I live. Go and get the money. And he went to look for a man and found Raphael. Found Raphael. That's the angel. Raphael, who was an angel. Though Tobias did not know it, and he said to him, "Can I go with you to Regula and Media? And do you know that?" So we don't, like I said, you don't see the angels. You don't see this happening in the Old Testament. Not in this way. Not in this manner. No angel hanging around like that. That's Christianity. So anyway, get on to it. Says, go with this man, and God, who lives in heaven, will prosper your journey, and let this angel go with you. And they both went out to start, and the boy's dog followed them. And his mother Hannah wept, and she said to Tobias, "Why have you sent our child away? Is he not our walking stick when he goes in and out before us? Do not let money be added to money, but let us be as dirt in comparison with our child. For a while, the Lord let us live. This is enough for us." And Tobit said to her, "Do not be troubled, my sister. He will come back safe and sound, and your eyes will see him. For a good angel will go with him, and he will have a prosperous journey, and will come back safe and sound." Okay. So he stopped crying, and they went on their way and came toward evening to the river Tigris, and there they spent the night. And the boy went to wash himself, and a fish jumped out of the river and would have swallowed the boy. But the angel said to him, "Take hold of the fish. Take it out. Take hold of the fish." And the boy seized the fish, threw it up on the land. And the angel said to him, "Cut the fish out and take his heart and the liver and the gall and keep them safe." And the boy did as the angel told him, and they cooked the fish and ate it. And they both traveled on on until they drew near to Abanika, and the boy said to the angel, Brother Azariah, what are the liver and the heart and the gall of the fish good for? So let's look at this right here. And he said to him, as for the heart and the liver, if anyone is in trouble with a demon or an evil spirit, you must take a smoke of them from the man or the woman, and they will be troubled no more. And as for the gall, if you rub it on a man who has white film over his eyes, he will be cured. What that sound like? Don't that sound like necromancy and witchcraft?
Yes, sir.
Look at it. An angel. What the hell an angel need with a fish liver and all that to kill a man? So when Lot was in the house and the people came to the door for the angels to come out, they wanted to know them. What the angel do? They just made them blind. They ain't need no damn fish livers and all that to make them blind or to kill them or whatever. That's witchcraft. See that? So and then the thing about it says, look what he say. The boy did as the angel told him, and okay, go back up. And the boy seized the fish and threw it up on the land. And the angel said to him, cut the fish up, take his heart and the liver and gall, and keep them safe. And the boy said to the angel, and the boy did as the angel told him, and they cooked the fish and ate it. And they both traveled on until they drew near to Cabanica. And the boy said to the angel, Brother Azariah, what are the liver and the heart and the gall of the fish good for? Now check this out. And he said to him, as for the heart and the liver, if anyone is troubled with a demon or an evil spirit, you must take the smoke of them before the man or the woman, and they will be troubled no more. So why, if that's common knowledge, then how in the hell is the angels then kill 7 men or the demon, and then Tobit? All he had to do is go get some fish liver and put on his eyes, and his eyes have been cured. See that? And so this is the same way doing the New Testament. Do the same shit in the New Testament with Jesus. They got it written in red.
Yes, as he spit into the
Right.
ground
Same
and put the clay on his eyes, and he
right.
became.
Been exposed right here. It's a nut bucket right in this.
So Raphael did not come down, and the man was unable to see an angel. But they're saying he saw the angel.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's just like Mary. Did Mary see Gabriel?
Yes, but I thought when an angel comes to someone, they say, "Do not be afraid," because of their awe of their look of them. It's hard to. It's not a look that one would say a person, but if they saw them, they would be in awe. But they did not say, "Do not be afraid." He didn't say, "Don't be afraid" or anything. Just
Right,
come
exactly.
and yes, sir.
Yeah, like I said, you can see this plagiarism. They know how things go in the Old Testament, and they trying to use it over here with these stories. And that's you have to have an eye for it.
Okay, so there's more research we need to do with things that seem to be something that gives us partial truth of something, but not clearly the facts.
Half truths,
Yes, sir.
right? So like I said, you had a book telling you what the characteristics of the angels are. So when you read, you understand that, and then you see this how the character. Somebody trying to hoodwink you,
Yes, sir, because you can't just look upon an angel because there is no
right?
features of one.
Exactly, exactly. So look at so you can write it be it's some It's some what they meant for to bamboozle you. You can actually get meat out of it. Like I said, you can see that the 10 tribes is in Nineveh. And like I said, if Jonah was sent to Nineveh, this the only time Jonah could have existed when the 10 tribes is in Nineveh. Not tied to JC in the damn New Testament. No.
Shalom. Yes, sir. So they, when they tried to tie it into Mary seeing an angel,
Right,
if you, they're saying like Mary always was encountered with an angel since
right,
she was
exactly.
at the covenant, when after she went to, I guess, the convent or something when she was 3 years old, all the way up until 12
Right,
and
right,
got married to Joseph and had the child. So she wasn't afraid of the angel. She was afraid of being pregnant, they
right,
say. Okay.
right. So another thing that which is you got to look at, just let's just say Noah. When after the flood, the water receded, then the Lord of hosts and the angels in heaven, the Creator, they set a rainbow out, right? He said,
Yes.
he set a rainbow out, made a covenant with Noah, right? So we ain't gonna even worry about. We're not gonna even deal with Adam, Canaan, Enoch. We know all the covenants he got, all the stuff he did with Enoch. So now he got this son that he's gonna bring in the earth. But from the way Christian said, he's gonna bring it through uh, the lineage of these men. So we know the relationship he had with Noah. He said he looked down and saw Noah was righteous, was perfect in his generation. He was the only one left, and he saved him. So now you get to the time to honor that because he's dealing with the DNA. But the baby is immaculate conceived. Let that ferment.
Yes, sir. Can I add something to it?
Okay.
Was this child being conceived? Again, if we go back to when we read yesterday in Isaiah 44 or 43, there will be no one before me or after me that will be
Exactly.
a savior. And so
Right.
now the savior they're calling in the New Testament is basically, I'm by my perception to realize as I'm reading and researching, is an idol because they're worshiping this figure
Right.
of a man, known that he says no one before or after, and then he comes in the later BC, and now in BC they are calling JC the savior of sin and iniquity and of health and everything, that he's doing all this for them, and by calling his name, being that he's an idol, or
Right.
yes, sir. Okay,
Right.
I'm still looking into all of this. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm gonna close out with this right here, based on what we just talked about. So if you go to let me see, Joshua, I think it is Joshua. Let me see. No, it ain't. It's number. Let me see. Exodus. Yeah, just in the Deuteronomy chapter 9, Deuteronomy 34:9. So it says, based off the conversation that was just being talked about, I'm in verse 34:9. Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, and Moses had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him and did as Lord had commanded. Then the verse I want to talk about is 10. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. So what they tell you in the New Testament, Jesus, he's a prophet, but he greater than Moses. He just told us right here, there arose not the prophet since, not before Moses, but since Moses. There arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. See that? So if they were going to take a verse out, they should have took that one out. Okay?
Shalom.
Yeah.
Yes, Brother Leonard. Have anyone heard about them trying to get genetic information from 500,000 Afro-Americans?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard of that. But I hadn't really did no I haven't watched no videos on it, but I heard it. I heard some people talking about that. Yeah. Maybe somebody on here can do some research on that. Check it out. Google it, YouTube it. Anybody else got anything else? Any comments? Okay. We got women's night tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The men can come in through YouTube. So I'll see everybody on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.
Okay.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.